Hello and a very warm welcome to the Real Talk. How are you doing? Thank you so much for making time to catch this program. And for me, it's always a pleasure to have your presence and a pleasure to bring you stories that I hope will be impactful. Recently, I found myself thinking of the ADR and the criminal justice policies. These are policies that we first had of maybe around 2022. And then I looked at that and the recent incidents around the arrest of famous celebrity, then what followed on social media. And I thought, why not have a conversation about these policies? Because maybe sometimes we react the way we do because we are not fully aware or knowledgeable. And so today we will be talking about the criminal justice system, justice policy, and we'll talk about the ADR policy as well. When they say alternative dispute resolution, what does that mean? And for you who's bailing for someone's blood, you want them to be arrested and detained, then you're told, no, we cannot detain them for this, that, and the other reason. How should you react? My name is Jackie Lumbasi. Let's meet our guest. Hello and welcome to the show. Our guest today is the president of the Rwanda Bar Association, Moise Nkundabarashi. Good to see you again, Moise.
Thank you.
You know, it's always a pleasure to have you on The Real Talk.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks. How have you been?
I'm well, keeping well.
Wonderful. You know, Moise, whenever I have something disturbing me and my brain is not doesn't have the capacity to grasp legalese. So when I have something disturbing me, I look for you. Whereas I was looking at the things that have happened in the recent past. We will come, you know, I said a famous person was arrested, but that's DJ Toxic. So we're going to come to that case. I want us to first and foremost look at the alternative dispute resolution policy, the implementation. I want to have some sort of accountability. How are we doing since 2022 when it was enacted?
All right, thank you very much. Number one, it's been close to 3 years and a half that we are implementing the ADR policy. It was enacted by the government of Rwanda in September 2022, which means we are close to 3 years and a half now. Come September 2026, we will be 4 years. And a lot has happened in terms of sensitization and mobilization of everyone that is across the justice sector and the litigant to embrace this journey of alternative dispute resolution. And the impact, if I may say, is huge in terms of having a lot of matters that were mediated and others went through arbitration, because arbitration is also part of the alternative dispute resolution mechanism. But most of the matters are being mediated. We have a list now of a lot of mediators that were trained to help litigant that is enacted, and it's available on the website of the Supreme Court. And whoever has a matter in court can also choose a mediator and then submit the matter to the mediators to help them find the middle ground. So part of what we've done, especially at the Bar Association, was trainings for lawyers, because we have lawyers that were initially trained to be litigant, but we are now sensitizing them and training them to become people that can help even in mediation. Mediators. And a lot of things that has happened also has to do with the fact that we've mobilized even litigants that have a lot of cases in court. As of recent, in this month and the past month, the judiciary has organized different forums with the insurers, all the insurance companies in the country, to talk about how we can resolve the issues and the dispute that they have in courts.
Do they have many insurance-related cases in court?
Claims are many with the insurances. Accidents, the covers that they offer to all the people that go into their services, they generate sometimes quite a good number of litigations.
Oh, okay.
The same happened with the bankers. You know, the bankers also, they have sometimes dispute, unpaid loans.
Unpaid loans, yes.
A lot of things are ongoing with their cases, and we made them to sensitize them and tell them, look, there are matters that we are not really supposed to be litigating. If someone has a loan and he did not pay, it's just a matter of sitting and having calculations and agree on an amount, and then it's resolved without necessarily going through litigation. The same also is happening to do with the criminal matters. There's a lot that is happening in terms of plea bargaining. Whenever there's someone that chooses to go for plea bargaining, it's open. And also there's also victim offender mediation cases are happening. So RIB is trying to mediate the victim and the offender to come up with a middle ground and try to find a solution without necessarily having to go through the arrest and the court process. And everything that is happening around all those two policies that I'm talking about is constitutional. When you look at our constitution in Article 10.6, we have agreed that we are going to be seeking solution to our problems via consensus, having consensus and an agreement that allows peaceful resolution of disputes. So, in a nutshell, that's what I can say that we've been doing. A lot of cases now are going through mediation, and we are happy to report to the public that is happening. Yeah. And whoever has a matter that is in court, there's nothing stopping you from also trying to find a solution to the same problem.
You can bring it out of court.
You can bring it out of court and then have it mediated and then resolve the issue without necessarily going through the procedures. Because most of the time you don't even know what is going to come out of the... You go to court when...
out of the entire process, the court
You're
process.
submitting it to someone that does not even maybe understand quite well your issue, and you end up having a judgment that you're unhappy about, or you can't even enforce it because by the time maybe the judgment is rendered, the enforcement is impossible for various reasons. Maybe someone has made the properties disappear, or he has no money to pay. Instead of you having such a judgment that you can't enforce, it's good to sit with the one you have an issue and then figure out how maybe all those issues can be addressed and then agree to be paid, for instance, in installments. Yeah. If it's a loan or a debt, and then it brings peace rather than focusing on that on the adversarial approach.
That's right, and you know sometimes somebody could even be imprisoned. They will serve the sentence. When they come back, that relationship is damaged.
It's damaged. Yeah.
I want to know, Moise, by the time, and ADR is not new.
Yeah.
Alternative dispute resolution has been there. I guess it was even there during our grandparents, our forefathers.
Yeah.
For us, and for this enactment in 2022, what informed the decision? What were we looking at? What sort of cases did we want to take out of the court process? What sort of burden did we hope, or do we hope, to lift off the victims, the offenders, and even the government? Like, paint a picture for us.
The truth of the matter is, when these kind of policies were enacted by the government, especially the one of ADR, there is this whole aspect of trying in as much as we can to live in a peaceful society that is going to help people with dispute to address them while themselves they are taking part of it, and then continue even the working relationship. You see, when I have a dispute with you and the matter is resolved through mediation, it allows us even to continue when it's like, for instance, business, and then have future relationship. But the reality is, when we go through litigation, that can't happen. Someone will walk out with a judgment, but it doesn't help. The second aspect was, of course, there's a lot of court cases that are ongoing, court case backlog. That needs to be
reduced,
in a sense.
Yes.
And reducing them by...
And the backlog is caused by what? Because when you say court cases backlog, that's also another long-time story.
It's a long-time story.
Yes.
And the initial part, or the it's coming from litigant filing cases in court. On one hand, it has a positive side of saying, you know what, these litigants, they have trust in courts. But then the time it takes, the resources that go into litigating, the emotional distress that people don't most of the time value, that takes you from commercial court or primary court up to the Supreme Court, is huge. In terms of you, instead of like focusing on what your core business, you find yourself having a matter that is in court for 6 years. And at the end of the day, you look at the expenses you've injected, you
could end up spending the same amount you're trying to chase.
Yeah, exactly.
But then
there is a whole mentality that we are trying to change in the Rwandan society of like going to court when you're saying, you know what, this guy despised me, I have to prove a point. It doesn't help most of the time. That's our experience. That's what we've seen. But then working on the backlog, creating and having a peaceful society, that is what is now helpful in terms of allowing the litigant to like leave courts and then go do some other businesses. Obviously, while talking about this, when we started the implementation of the ADR policy, everyone was like, but lawyers, you only earn when
we have a case in court.
When you have disputes.
Yes.
But even in mediation, lawyers can do business. Because you bring people together and help them resolve their problem, and you're paid for your work.
Oh, you'll give them a rate for that.
It's provided in our lawyers' scales.
Okay.
So all we are trying to do now is to change that mentality of telling them, look, don't look at mediation as something that is coming to take away your work, but it's actually here to come and give you another opportunity of practice that is creating a peaceful society and long-lasting relationship for the businesses, especially these are the ones that I'm talking about. And when you appear to be a lawyer that is problem-solving, you actually even make more money than you being in the adversarial and confrontational approach.
And I was just thinking about it. When you're a lawyer that's known to solve problems, to mediate, you could get more business and even more money, because the litigation process, we've just talked about it, the court process takes long. So if you're working on one case or two cases for 4 years, imagine if in the 4 years, you're going to mediate 50 cases. You'll have, in the long run, you'd make more.
I will just give you an example of one of the matters that I had in the last, it's been now like 2 or 3 weeks. We were in Commercial High Court arguing. It was a matter that was between two major companies, bank and insurance. Both of them, they were disputing an insurance that was issued on a loan. The entire amount that was involved was close to 1.4 billion. But then when we got into the matter, we brought them together and we were like, but do you realize losing this insurance company, and do you realize losing the relationship with this bank, that both of you are in this market? Don't you think there is something else that can be done? Even though the 1.4 cannot be paid and you get a half, and keep the relationship and consider future businesses.
Because you'll continue earning from this relationship.
And it happened, we walked out of court, a half was paid, but then deals on the future businesses were signed. So you look at it in such a perspective, but also we are trickling down also to the local communities. The disputes in Murenge, Mudugudu, people should try to find the middle ground. And that we allow them to go for their core business and try to make money.
That's right.
And live a peaceful life. So that's where we are focusing now. The Bar Association, the judiciary, the National Public Prosecution, Rwanda Investigation Bureau. We are working to make sure that we all get to understand the role that is the one of delivering justice, but justice that is also bringing peace in a sustainable manner.
So when we look at ADR, are there cases that cannot be mediated, you know, or resolved under ADR? Because I imagine it's not for all cases. Are there those that we say this definitely, it has to stop at the court?
That depends with the parties. Yeah, for me...
there isn't a case that you'll say this is too big, this we cannot do ADR on it?
I don't think so. The example that I've just given was involved an amount of
that's a huge amount of money,
1.4 billion. There are cases that are in courts sometimes that have like 4 billion and so on and so on. But the moment when the parties get together and understand the reasons as of why they can mediate and look at things in a broader manner and the issue in a broader manner, then things can be resolved.
Okay.
And the more the cases involve a lot of money, like for instance in banking, in insurance and so on, the more it can even take more years in courts. Because you leave commercial court, commercial high court, go to the Court of Appeal, go to the Supreme Court, because the possibility of escalating and getting to the upper court depends on the amount that is involved in a matter. So that's the reason why we are telling whoever has litigation that you have interest in resolving it without necessarily going through courts. And we have seen, in the past 3 years, we've seen a very good impact in terms of delivering justice in using this mechanism.
I want to talk as a communicator, touch on the aspect of communication. Rwanda Investigation Bureau, the entire justice institutions. How do you communicate, or how do you know that someone is satisfied? I bring this up because recently there was somebody who went, and because we will talk about social media in a short while, but I want to just use an example of somebody who went online and complained that somebody who had wronged them was arrested and released without them being informed, and there seemed to be a breakdown in communication. How do you all ensure that in all you do, you're communicating satisfactorily to the parties involved, all parties, so that we don't start saying somebody went behind my back and they were assisted by this relative of theirs at RIB? Or somebody went to Moise, and because they're known to Moise, Moise is their friend, he made a few calls and this person was out and they've not been held accountable. There seems to be, I think there's been a recent case, but we've also had a few cases in the recent years where people are not satisfied. They're not satisfied with the outcome of cases that they presented to. It's mainly been RIB. But because you all work together, how do you gauge your communication?
Normally, communication, when it comes to the criminal procedure, is a legal requirement to the victim. It can be either at the level of RIB or even the level of the National Public Prosecution. But communication to the victim is a legal requirement, and it's supposed to be done. But then, if I may touch a little bit on the issue of satisfaction, in matters of justice, most of the time satisfaction is not, it does not appear to be something that you can have, because there is a decision that is taken that can either not be satisfactory to the one that is not, I mean, the one that is not winning. At the end of the day, we have to complain for something. So measuring satisfaction can be difficult. But then the truth of the matter is every single procedure that is happening, it has rules of procedure that has to happen. You might complain about not how communication was not well handled, maybe, and so on and so on, but it does not mean necessarily that the decision that was made to release someone was
wrong.
So those are, we need to look at it from a perspective of every single case, and trying to see at which point someone is talking about satisfaction.
So when somebody says that there was evidence, maybe I was assaulted and I went through the initial stages of proving that I was assaulted, there was evidence. And then this person a few months on is told that case is out of court, or we let it go of it because there was not enough evidence. If I am the person that is saying I was assaulted and you feel like there's not enough evidence, do you sit me down and explain? Because in my corner as the victim and with my not very much knowledge of the law, I'll say, but I gave you evidence. So do you explain to a victim that what you think is evidence, yes, it is, but it might not be enough, and this is the explanation. This is what makes it not enough.
Well, that I want to believe that might be the work of lawyers, sitting with your lawyer and trying to explain the judgment and the verdict that was delivered, and then also telling the truth to the very client that is feeling like there was there was evidence to be used by courts. But everything that happens in this whole process of criminal justice chain starts with RIB. An investigation is carried out, and once it's concluded, it's sent to the National Public Prosecution. The National Public Prosecution tries as much as they can to also carry out more investigation, additional investigations. And once it's concluded, the matter is now ready. That's when it's filed in court. And before courts, you appear, even the victim will have a lawyer, or even they can come and argue, present the evidence, and then the court makes a verdict. And that happens at a trial level. Most of the time, this might be maybe at the level of the lower court. Most of the time will be the courts, the courts that we normally call Tribunal de Base, and that's the lowest. And then sometimes they go to the intermediate court. You have the possibility of appealing against any decision that is rendered by the lower courts, and then go to the upper courts. Most of the time, that's how it happens. So presenting evidence is one thing, but the assessment of evidence is done by the courts. Courts will be the ones to determine whether evidence, under the rules of evidence and the law that governs evidence, they will assess, and then once a verdict is delivered, we assume that the court has done its work properly of assessing the evidence. But when you are unsatisfied, you have the possibility of going to the upper court and file an appeal. But coming back to your question, I want to believe that's the work of a lawyer, and trying to explain clearly, because there's no court that we come and sit down a litigant and tell them this is how we render this judgment. So
that's the work of my lawyer. If I have a case, that's my lawyer. The government, when we talk, I'll take you back to the alternative dispute resolution. You know, we say people are, I don't know, for what reason do we send people to prison? We send people so that maybe it's correctional services.
Yes.
Looking for a way of making them, holding them accountable for what they have done, hoping that the time they will spend in there will teach them a lesson, have them come back out as, good citizens. What is the impact of us holding people in these correctional, the centers? What, especially the financial impact? What is the financial impact on the government? Who, when we have 10,000 people in the cells in the prison, when they should be out here serving in the community, as a taxpayer, am I contributing to keeping them there? Is it something that the government would really want to deal with because it's eating on some monies that should have been invested elsewhere?
Well, when the government enacted the criminal justice policy, one of the purpose was to deal with all those kind of issues. be it financial, be it allowing the very offenders to continue serving in the community and be taxpayers in one way or the other, but also reduce the impact that it's having even on the budget side of the government. So the financial impact is, I would say, it's huge. But the good thing is what we are doing and the implementation of these policies is what is helping to work on reducing in as much as we can on the very financial impact. But it does make sense. Your question does make sense in a sense that when obviously someone is there, the government will have to pay for his security, food, medical, transport, to take him from one point to the other, to go and attend hearings and so on and so on. So there is a lot that goes into that logistics. So by therefore applying the mechanism that we are put in place by the policy, which policies actually are now, there are some amendments on the laws that are happening very soon.
Okay.
But at this point, what it does, it helps is to reduce all those costs. By making sure that when you have a plea bargaining, like for instance, and you were supposed to spend there 5 years, you get like a lenient sentence of 2 years, then we are at least saving the 3 years.
Yeah.
So by applying the recommendations of the policy, we are trying in as much as we can to reduce that cost that was going into the government coffers, but also at the same time deliver justice. Yeah. Because even the ones that are detained also, I mean, due process, and also have access to justice in a faster manner than the way it was going to be when it's an adversarial process. So there is obviously a lot that was done in the past 3.5 years, but again, a lot still needs to be done.
Do they work? Do the prisoners work? Like, you know, do something that, in a way, pays back? For example, working on government farms.
Yes, they do. They do, and they have quite a good number of projects of production.
Okay.
Yeah, and RCS is also doing it in a better manner. There are also programs of corrections that allows them to get out of the prison when they have learned 1 or 2 things that is going to help them when they are out there. Okay. That has to do with carpentry. Like there's a lot
and beauty and
so
stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens from that side in terms of like correction, and the philosophy of correction is now actually being cemented instead of it being a prison.
Okay.
Yeah. The philosophy behind is trying to make people become better citizens rather than punishing them. Yeah. That's the understanding.
Moise, we're taking a break. When we come back, we're going to look at trial by social media.
Yes.
Yes, we'll be looking at that when we come back. Thank you for being part of The Real Talk. We are live on RTV and on our official YouTube channel. Kindly share the links that we have others being part of the conversation. We'll be back in a bit. Welcome back to The Real Talk. Use the hashtag The Real Talk if you have any questions, comments or suggestions, and we will respond to you. Thank you for being here. Moise, trial by social media. World over, when a famous person, a celebrity, a public figure is arrested, what we see is the case playing out in the public. Whoever it is, whether it's a Hollywood star or a politician in Kenya, in Rwanda, you will see us discuss it, and sometimes we end up judging this person. So I want us to use the most recent case, and I do this because I wanted to see the relationship that it has to with ADR and the criminal justice policy and public awareness. Because in everything that we do, the public plays a very key role. So the Nyarujenje Primary Court, when DJ Toxic unfortunately was alleged to have committed the crime that he committed. Then there's fleeing from the scene. Then this news is broken and we start talking about it. That we're already saying, oh my God, if he's taken someone's life, then this is a big one. He will also like spend his entire time in there. And so the case starts even before it starts officially. And then sometime in May, that was May 4th, to be precise, the Nyarugenge Primary Court found him guilty on 4 counts. Then they ruled that he would not serve a jail term. Instead, he was fined $1,050,000, handed a 3-month community service sentence that was suspended for 6 months. I want you to comment on this particular case. And the reason I asked you, are there cases that cannot be resolved out of court? Because someone's life has been taken. The family is crying for justice. The citizens are crying for justice. Then you have a case like this. Then we also, I felt at some point that we prematurely discussed it on social media and judged it there. From where you see it as a legal brain, as the president of the association, what does trial by social media mean to you? What should we be aware of when we are commenting on these things, when we are coming out as fans and relatives and doing whatever we can to influence the decision of the court? Because ultimately that's what it looks like.
Well, first of all, it's an extremely unfortunate state of affairs that people and the court of public opinion is now taking over and judging ahead of the court. Of the courts.
Yes.
And that is very dangerous. The reality is when you look at the public opinion and what they do, most of the time people are commenting from a perspective of the information that they have, which information are completely sometimes unverified, which information most of the time are completely out of the facts, which information sometimes are being spread on social media when you don't even know, without verification, without nothing, and you're putting some pressure on the law enforcement agencies sometimes. And that is extremely dangerous because you're also even violating a principle of sub judice.
Yes.
And that has a huge impact on the law enforcement agencies and the courts if they are not playing it well. Reason being that whoever forms an opinion on the social media, it lands in the hands sometimes maybe of a judge that is handling the matter. And then the issue becomes, I mean, by the time you're going to judge, the independence of that very judge sometimes is, the community is shouting and everyone feels like, no, this person should not be let out and so on and so on. But the truth of the matter is when matters of criminal justice are being handled, we should let the judge and the courts address the very issues and then maybe look at the verdicts that are delivered, without necessarily having to go through those debates before we even get to know what has happened. So the very case that you've talked about is, of course, one of those, but there are many. But the reality is, you can't just jump on X to go and comment on a matter out of emotions. You don't even know what has happened correctly. But simply because you feel like this very person was not, some will be like, this person was not supposed to be in jail. Others will be like, no, actually it's so dangerous, he's supposed to be in jail. So all those commentaries happens before we even get to know to establish the facts, what the law talks about, the very facts, and what are the possible remedies to the very issue. Talking of the very matter, what I heard also on social media was that the family of the one that passed on had, like, the DJ Toxic had apologized, and then the family actually even said, you know what, this is something that happened, we forgive you, and so on and so on. But that didn't stop there. The very
And that
people
wasn't made public.
Yeah.
I didn't see it anywhere.
No, it was.
Oh, it was, huh? But he apologized.
But then the reality is people that do not even have anything to do with the very issue that is happening
will be making the loudest noise.
The loudest noise.
That's right.
And when a judgment is delivered, maybe people are not satisfied because they have their own expectations that sometimes are different.
Satisfaction is
that are different from what the law provides.
Yes.
That are different from what we have put in place as a country in terms of policy. Huh? Because we are saying, look, we should be trying to resolve this matter and trying to find the middle ground. But obviously, every single human being has the right to their own judgment. But as we comment on social media, when it comes to matters of justice, let's try as much as we can to be objective and try to seek information that are accurate. Because otherwise we might end up tweeting or even putting on YouTube information that can mislead people and put pressure on some of the judicial agents that are supposed to be delivering justice.
We've seen that. Yeah.
So there is this whole culture that needs to be built in through this kind of sensitization, the ones of having talk, and also trying to play like as if you see when you want to measure justice, it's always good to put yourself in the place of the one you're
judging. Or the one.
Yes. When you put you put yourself in the shoes of the one you're judging, most of the time you tend to deliver a fair, more balanced judgment. Reason being that, I mean, when otherwise when you're looking at it from someone else's perspective, it's easy to make those kind of comments. Before you know it, you're the next maybe. And they're going to be posted all over on social media before you even get to be judged. The presumption of innocence is put at stake. And by the time maybe the courts gets to acquit someone, we don't even know because that is not, it's no news most of the time. Yet, it's also equally important as we break the news that there's an arrest, we should also follow throughout the process until we know the conclusions. And
break every bit of it.
And they break every bit of it.
Yes.
But the reality is those who are in the game of breaking the news, they like to break the one of arrest and stop there.
Arrest and the early release.
And the early release.
I want to talk about the comparisons that we also make on the streets. So I belong to the streets because I'm not a legal mind.
Yeah, I see you on the streets.
You see me on the streets, I'm there. So I'll be saying, you see, this one has killed a person. How can such a person be released and be sentenced to 6? And you know now, of course, we're talking about this, but there's been new development because he was rearrested. We need to make that clear. And I hope that even the viewer knows that already. So then we'll be saying, but this one has claimed someone's life. How can he be sentenced to 6 months community service and pay only 1,050,000? And yet there's that other person who insulted so-and-so on their YouTube channel and they've been sentenced to 3 years in prison. Oh, there's the other person who stared at a woman and he was sentenced to... So those comparisons, what determines the weight of a case and how big one's sentence should be?
Let me start by saying, first of all, it's wrong to compare one case to the other because every single case that is handled by courts has its own uniqueness. And you're not going to tell me because the offense that one was being prosecuted for and the other one, they were completely different. You trying to compare and trying to understand the way a sentence was issued by a court, first go read the penal code and get to understand what are the sentences that are meant for this and this. But the truth of the matter also that was involved into those comparisons, you have one case in which someone is pleading guilty and asking for a lenient sentence. And on the other side, there was that kind of spread of videos and so on for someone that was denying completely and not saying not even trying to get a lenient sentence. So there is a lot of differences that you can't just say on social media that X got this and this one got this, and stop by there. No, get into the judgment and see the reasoning of the judge. I'm also not trying to diminish the fact that people can get emotional when someone has lost life.
When the human.
That is not my purpose, and it's not even the purpose of the conversation. But the reality is, we are trying to find a solution to a problem. That's my understanding. Yeah. And the one that was involved into the very accident was being tried by the courts of law, and he also got in prison. But then trying to address the issues sometimes require that we be mature in the way we do it. But I wouldn't say also that the ones that are commenting and saying that they are unhappy with the decision. I mean, it happens. It happens. It's out of emotions, but which emotions needs to be dealt with maturely, because at the end of the day, everything that has to happen has to go through courts. And eventually, that's what you're talking about, that it happened, there was an appeal that was filed, and after the appeal, there was now a judgment that was... I
need you to clear the air, and in case nobody has asked you this question before, I want you to be honest with me. That appeal and the renewed sentence, was it influenced by the outcry on social media?
It's difficult to tell, but maybe the social media played a part. But maybe the ones that filed an appeal are the ones that can get to know what it means. But the truth of the matter is, at every case that is tried at trial level is subject to an appeal, like the same way I did mention earlier.
And you said by both parties.
By both parties. It can be even him himself as a suspect might have said, you know what, I'm not satisfied with this, let me appeal. But the prosecution also had the possibility of I mean, it's legal. When a judgment is rendered in such a manner, within 30 days, anyone can appeal. And when an appeal was filed, the court had to deal with it. Yeah.
The sharing of personal information, because when you have a case like this again, we see a lot of things being shared online. What is the implication of such?
That's another issue that needs actually to be dealt with. The data protection law do not allow those kind of information to be spread, and people have to be careful. That's all I can say. Before you post someone's CV on social media, before you post someone's picture, before you release the details of someone, I've seen people on X posting some people's IDs. So all those are things that needs to be avoided in as much as we can as a community to avoid any kind of prosecution that might result out of that kind of behavior.
You know, we could be saying a lot of, or maybe I could be saying a lot of the negatives that come with this banter or commentary on social media, but is there anything good that comes out of it?
Yeah. There's a lot of good things that have that comes out of it by, like, for instance, when it comes to criminal investigations, the reporting part. Obviously, it does not mean that there are not other channels, but I've seen some reporting on X that has helped to address some of the issues. A video that is posted, people are beating the others and so on, and then there is an information that is given, and then the agents of RIB or even NPPA, we act on it by getting that information. Because at the end of the day, there are things that might be happening maybe from all the corners of the country that are not sent to RIB or reported in an official manner, but which allows the RIB to now follow up and try to address the issues. So the reporting part, the socials can help very much, but also constructive debate, positive constructive debate that can lead to maybe policy change, legal amendments, and so on and so on. Talking of YouTube, it's a channel that can that people can learn.
We can use it to...
Socials, they are not necessarily negative or bad in terms of what we are describing here, but if well used, they can also be a platform that can help even in legal education. I see last time when we were speaking to students, we were telling them it's a place you can go to the YouTube and learn how to the pleading techniques. There's a lot of content there nowadays that can be a game changer in terms of informing people on their well-being, on the financial literacy, a lot. So there is a lot of good thing that the social media can play in someone's life, but it depends on how you use it. It can't just be the negative part that we are talking about. So the important part is to look into how you use it. And before you even post anything on social media, first think twice. It can't just be about breaking news and posting someone's picture, someone's video. A
screenshot of a conversation.
A screenshot of a conversation to impress people that you're breaking the news. These are things that can have a serious impact on you. I've seen some of social media players here being arrested and jailed for content that they put on out there. So it means that's a message that people should be careful.
For cases that find their way to the public domain, and maybe sometimes it's been taken there by a family member, a mother who has lost a child or a father who has lost a child, you have these people run to social media for one reason or the other, because now things have evolved. And I wonder if, I talked about sub judice and other ways of handling legal matters. Should we be thinking of making things public? Let me give an example. If there's two people in a case that is as public as maybe somebody's daughter who passed away in a young man's house, and the young man says, I'm not responsible, but then, so this story has found itself in the public space and we have discussed it, then along the way, this case dies, and maybe it dies because the two parties solved it out of court.
Yes.
When such cases that are so public are solved out of court, when somebody says, I have apologized and they've been forgiven, should we make them public as a way of informing the general citizenry? Because you're telling us to read the penal code. Not all of us understand the legal jargon. In fact, we stay away from it. So how do you plan to help us as we move on, and with a lot of the concentration span that we don't have, the fact that we don't really care to verify information, we are quick to break the news. How do you counter that? RIB, NPP, you as lawyers, will you reach a place where you say, the same way we started this case, the same way it was discussed on social media, this is the verdict, let us put it out there. The two families sat and reconciled.
I don't find any issue that being done, but maybe one thing for a fact is there's a reason why hearings happen in public. The reason is whoever wants to know about the very case can find in the room what the parties are talking about, they are arguing, and so on. And actually, each verdict issuance in courts is public. And it's an open court. So whoever wants to come and listen to the delivery of the judgment that he or she has a particular interest, they can come to the public and then sit in the room, and then the judgment is delivered in public.
And the judgment is also documented somewhere put on a public platform where we can all find it?
Yeah, for some of the judgments that are landmark decisions, most of the time they are published on the website of the Supreme Court to help the public to understand even some of the judgments that they were delivered by the courts. So they are publicly available on the website of the Supreme Court, and whoever wants a judgment can also approach any of the court and get it. And nowadays, actually, one of the things that the judiciary is doing is trying to make sure that we learn from the past judgment that we get from that very platform, and then use it to resolve the future disputes that are similar to the ones, the precedent system and the jurisprudence. And it's extremely helpful because for those who can read, because as you said, it's not everyone that is going to be familiar with the judgment and the legal jargon and so on. Today, if you have an issue, a legal issue that you're about to submit to the judicial organs, you can read the precedent and say, you know what, you can preempt and say, this is the decision, since the facts are similar, everything is similar, the likelihoods of the decision that is going to come out of this is going to be ABCD because of this precedent. Because of the precedent that were set ahead of the very trial. So, but what I can say in terms of like the use of the socials especially is people ought to be careful.
You're emphasizing that. I'm
emphasizing. People ought to be careful because by the time you release someone's video, someone's picture, someone's, like the entire content nowadays, so social media has become a platform where a lot of people meet. It's actually nowadays considered as public area. Because everyone will see what you've posted.
Yeah.
So especially it can also be addictive.
Yeah, no doubt.
That also has a huge impact on what people think and so on and so on.
I'm wondering what effect it has on the people involved, the different parties involved. There's a victim, there's an offender, there's the judge, there's the lawyer, their families in there.
The reality that I did mention was the one of putting pressure on all those people. It happens subconsciously. People find themselves under pressure of what is being discussed in the public.
I can imagine. I imagine a scenario where the judge will be at home, not, he's not interested in bringing work to the living room,
to the home,
but then the sons and the daughters,
they are on X and they are showing the pictures that you're the one handling this matter and so on and so on. So it becomes something that is not. But the reality is that's where the world is. We can't do away with the socials, but we can control the way we use them.
And we should use them responsibly.
And use them responsibly.
Yeah. As we close the conversation, Moise, if somebody chooses to forget everything that we've told them, we've touched on ADR and they say, okay, thank you very much, we appreciate criminal justice policy, all right, thank you, you've used big words, thank you. If they choose to forget everything, what is it that you do not want them to forget? What is that message that you want them to hold dear? In
this conversation, one or two things that I don't want anyone would take away would be, whenever you have a dispute, it does not matter how much money involved and anything, it can be mediated and you find a middle ground and leave the dispute, go and continue your core business. That is, the ADR it's the best way. Actually, it used to be called alternative dispute resolution, and now for us who are in practice, we are calling it appropriate dispute resolution.
Okay. Appropriate, not alternative.
Not alternative. When you call something alternative, that means there's always the other option that I can go with. But today, if you make it a priority and say, whenever I have any issue, I want to resolve it using mediation, using arbitration, using adjudication, and so on. That is the best way to go. Number two, when it comes to criminal justice policy implementation, whoever is involved in a criminal matter and you feel like you can go into plea bargaining, there's a lot of interest. When you know very well that there are facts and evidence against you that can cost you. Instead of you losing time, it's better to use plea bargaining and then speed up the process.
And plea bargaining is where you plead guilty.
When you plead guilty and
you could get a lower,
get a lenient
sentence.
So that happens. In this country, it has happened even for serious offenses. But then when you also feel like the offense was not committed, I mean, courts are also open to examine the evidence that is submitted by the prosecution, but then the matters should be adjudicated with due process, in a timely manner, and then come up with a judgment that is delivered by courts. On the other hand, when it comes to the socials, I mean, let's not reduce our courts to the courts of public opinion only, because most of the time they are even less informed.
Yeah. You
draw judgment without clear facts. You've not examined the evidence. You're just making an opinion. You're forming an opinion that is going to influence the outcome of a judgment, which you don't even understand sometimes. So it's therefore important that people be careful, especially when we are reporting matters that are under investigation, because normally investigations are supposed to be conducted in secrecy. Yes. The impact of socials and the posting of the very information is huge. Before you know it, the evidence can be tampered with.
Yeah.
Because it's in public.
Yeah.
Before you know it, the co-offenders will run away. Before you know it, I would say,
even the witnesses
may be compromised. Yeah. They might be getting to know, this is the version. Then by the time I get to be interrogated, I'm going to say different things. If the money that was stolen is in my house, let me put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So all those are consequences and aspects that people don't think about. But
yeah, we never think about.
And the very person is still innocent. Let's also not forget that.
Yeah.
You don't know as of when this person maybe is going to be acquitted.
Yeah.
But you're making a judgment at the early stage of the arrest.
Yeah.
Yet there is a huge and long process that is ahead of you. Another thing that I can give as an advice to the people, I mean, the same way you're posting the very person that is arrested, think about it when it's going to come to, when it happens to yourself or in any of your relatives. Would you enjoy the same treatment?
I wouldn't. Yeah.
So let's the whole conversation should be about education and trying to be fair in as much as we can, but also apply any sense of responsibility while we use socials.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Moise.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Pleasure was mine.
Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. We hope that you have picked something from it. Whatever we do, let us do it responsibly. You take care. We'll see you next week. God bless you.